Hello, hello. We're back.
Yes, we are.
Back live. It's the end of January. We haven't been with you guys for a while. I think the last time we were around was for our awards issue episode, as it were. I'm sure everybody else had their opinions after that, but we're back. We've been a little busy lately. New year, things going on, but we're here right in time for the official start to the road to WrestleMania. I know Charlie's ready for WrestleMania, and we ain't even getting to Rumble yet.
Yep.
We're ready for Philly. 2 months and counting. I'll actually be heading down to the Rumble myself this weekend. So anybody going to be out in Tampa, you might run into me. Okay. So yeah, me and Charlie thought this week we'll do a little preview. We only got a week to go. Car's pretty much set. Nothing crazy is going to happen. This week. Not at all.
Then we wake up Wednesday morning to
I'm going to work, and like first things first, I wake up like, oh, Kevin Patrick's being removed from SmackDown commentating. Oh, that sucks for him. Oh, and like three minutes later, oh, by the way, The Rock is now on the TKO board of directors. I'm like, wait, what? Where did this happen? And he owns the Rock name, and he's an executive, and he's down in New York City opening the stock exchange with Vince, with Triple H, with his ex-wife. Of course, he's with everything he does is with his ex-wife. And before we even had a chance to even barely react to that, me and Charlie, I'm like, oh my God, what? The Raw deal has been settled, and they're going to what? Netflix? Charlie was not happy when I told him that.
Nah.
We'll get into that in a second. Yeah, so it was a pretty crazy morning. Pretty crazy morning. Then there was all the rumors about Okada going to NXT, which some people were angry about. But there's all kinds of rumors. I don't believe half of them. Especially today, we had a lot of rumors from Sports Illustrated, which I was shocked because I thought they fired everybody at Sports Illustrated, but I guess I was wrong. Anyway, yeah, so we'll start there. Yeah, so The Rock working on the board. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but he's got a spot. I'm sure he's making good money. He's getting what did I read? Something about $30 million in stock options, something insane. So he's got a job. He's basically got the same position Vince does now. He's on the board.
Nice.
It's a natural fit, and he gets his full use of the Rock back. He doesn't have to ask permission anymore to use that, although I don't think anybody remembered that after all this time. So that was kind of interesting. Obviously, we saw his return to Raw a couple weeks ago. So yeah, what's going on with that? So the Rock's back. He's an executive of some kind. Apparently, he's giving his daughter the GM role on NXT now. I assume it's kind of funny. The same day that he gets named to this board, we get an announcement on NXT that young Rock, Ava, is the new GM. Anyway, so the bigger news here, obviously, we've been talking about these media rights for months, obviously, for years. Even on this program, we've been talking about this even before the TKO merger happened. We've speculated. We've said, Amazon. What about ESPN? What about even Warner Brothers was Discovery was interested. I don't think anybody said Netflix. We might have mentioned it once or twice, but we mentioned maybe streaming of some kind. But lately, there was this big report about Amazon. But apparently, Netflix, who's been trying to get into the live sports, hasn't really done it yet. But they've done a few things, and they've jumped in the ring, as it were, here with WWE for the flagship show. So, as I said before, Charlie was not happy about this. But after 24 hours or there or less, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, Charlie?
After seeing Nick Khan on Pat McAfee's show and I thoroughly explain what the deal is going to consist of, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to be gained off this. So it's a good move for WWE. I retract my initial statement of it, but
yeah, I think you were more worried about what it meant for I don't think it meant like personally you were mad by it. I think you were worried a little bit more about what it meant for business until you saw the $5 billion possibly this is worth. There's an opt-out after 5 years, but I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, there's even an opt-in clause, so this could be, they could be on this longer than USA. Not quite, but it could be headed towards there. Well, we do have somebody in the chat. Thank you. Where's JML? He's on assignment as usual. He sends his regards. I'm sure he'll be watching this Saturday night. Thanks for the jumping in here and watching us. Yeah, so yeah, that's a lot of money. And Nick Khan is kind of basically telling you, listen, we're going to go where the money goes. We don't care about what night it's on. We don't care about what streaming, cable, whatever.
He
Show us the
made it
money.
clear that PLEs will still remain on Netflix then as well. So
Internationally, oddly enough, so this is
yeah,
actually more affecting international right now more than anything else. We obviously here in the U.S. are still locked into the Peacock deal for another 2 years, I think. Yeah, it's been 3 years
well,
as of this WrestleMania. I know it's 3 years, so I think
so
another
it's
two
not going
years.
to be exclusive the first year of Netflix.
No. Well, not here in the States. We still have the Peacock deal, which is not going to be superseded.
Okay.
Now, when they were talking about that yesterday, they're talking about more overseas because a lot of stuff is expiring at the end of the year. I know in the UK and I know maybe even in Canada, which is good news for our friends up north and then across the pond. Obviously, when the rights are up here, they're going to sell them again. They're not just going to just revert them to Netflix, but maybe Netflix will be doing so well. Maybe they'll jump in and want the whole network on their platform. We'll see. Of course, right away everybody was worrying about, is this going to stay on Monday? I mean, the way Nick kind of answered it, he said it is for now. So when he said the term "for now," I don't think they'll change it because I mean I know we talk about football. Obviously, they held up pretty decently this year against the NFL. There were some tough weeks, but even last week against the playoff game, they held up pretty well. So I don't think it's a big deal. And also, I mean, we don't know the extent here. We know about it's going to be airing live. I don't know as far as the on demand. I don't know because I know here, at least in the US, we still have Hulu has the next day air rights, and Peacock doesn't get new episodes of Raw for like 30 days afterwards. Same thing with SmackDown and NXT. I don't know, what that's going to be like. I'm hoping that you'll be able to just, if you missed the start of the show, you can jump in from the start like we've been doing for the last 10 years since the network launched. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. People were asking about commercials. People were asking about how many hours it's going to be. It looks like it's going to stay 3 hours. Even Netflix is interested in that extra hour of advertising. I can't say I blame them. Well, it'd be interesting to see what they integrate as far as advertising. Considering this is going to start here, and maybe some countries will still be airing it on TV. So I still think we're going to get some sort of commercial breaks, but what they're going to entail, maybe they'll show us what's going on. Maybe there's a match going on. Maybe there's something happening backstage. I can see them doing stuff like that, like they used to do on the .com back in the day, where they'd have during a commercial break, you'd log in and they'd have like they'd either show you the match going on, they show you stuff happening backstage. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, I can see backstage segments or WWE shop segments.
Yeah, some advertisements for their products, maybe some sponsor deals, like when we have commercial for Raw and they have some kind of like spoofy commercials and stuff like that. I could probably see something like that. It is what it is at this point. I know we probably all would probably prefer a shorter show, but either you're gonna watch it or you're not. So, and of late they've been keeping us pretty interested
for a lot. So it's
I mean I've been doing this for 30 something years. Some people it's too much. Hey, it is what it is. There's a lot of wrestling on TV every week. It's hard to keep up with it all, but yeah, so it should be interesting to see this. Like I said, Netflix doesn't do a lot of live streaming, so they're trying to they're jumping right in here in a big way. Understandably so. I know people were concerned about less viewership. I said honestly, probably more people have Netflix than have the USA Network.
Do you think?
I think so, or at least I think there's a lot more people these days. I know cable is slowly dying, but I think there's a lot of all the streaming, apps that there exist. Most people have Netflix, right? That's like the most popular, even though maybe you can argue they don't have the best library or whatever you're going to say about their programming. Pretty much, at least everyone has that. It's the first one I had. I've had a subscription continuously since 2010, maybe. Since when you had to use a disc on PS3 to stream. That's how long I've had it. In fact, at that time, you were still getting the DVDs in the mail too, so for the same price before they split up the business. I did hear that they're getting rid of they're probably phasing out their ad-free plan. I mean, not their the ad-supported plan. So it looks like we could be hopefully not so many price hikes. We keep saying it every year, but I mean, it's a bonus if you already got it. Like I said, I'm always thinking, well, why do I have Netflix? I guess I'll have an excuse to keep it next year, starting in January.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean,
hey, whatever. In the USA, so that'll keep people held on to their cable plans.
Thank you, Jake. So a lot of people haven't had basic cable or any kind of cable. Maybe people are using antennas. Maybe people are using, Hulu has live TV, YouTube TV. There's a lot of different ways. allegedly there might be some sites that you can watch stuff for free. I'm not supporting these or saying anything. I'm just saying they may exist. Maybe check it out or don't. Anyways, again, thanks guys for jumping in the chat. So yeah, it's been a busy week already, and it's only Wednesday. We've had a lot of hype for the Rumble, and here we are, just a couple days away. We'll get into it in a second. We missed a month. We can't really go through everything, so we'll just say we hope Seth Rollins' knee is not as bad as it seems, and it seems like he's not relinquishing his title. So it looks like maybe it is a better news than we thought. What do you think is going to happen with that, Charlie?
I don't know. I'm just glad we aren't getting robbed of CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. So
that's going to happen regardless.
That's at the top of my list of going to Mania this year.
For sure. Speaking of Mr. Punk, first name CM, this past Monday on Raw, a lot of people are talking about it. We got to, as Cody said, what do you want to talk about? Well, we got to talk about Cody and Punk in the ring.
Oh my God.
And did it live up to the hype? I think so.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe that was probably the most. This is people probably been waiting for Punk. He's been kind of low key since being back. Maybe this is the most himself he's been in a while. And then Cody himself brought it right back. I like that. There was a lot of complaints. People saying, "Oh, they didn't mention AEW," because that's not the root of their issue. They were in there at the same time, but they didn't really interact. It was nothing to do with that. It was more of a
people just want
a funny side note.
They want the other companies to say the other companies 3 letters.
I gotta say it. Oh, he said it. Oh my God, he said it. But the only, like when Sammy said that on Raw years ago. Oh, let's talk about AEW, and then people, oh my God, AEW. Oh my God,
ridiculous.
Really ridiculous. But yeah, what can you say about the promo? I mean, bringing up a lot of their past history. I know people are probably like, what was he talking about? He was there when Cody was in developmental. I don't think that's what he meant. I think he was trying to say, Dusty said when he comes up, give him just watch over him. That's probably around the time. Yeah. Although Punk was on ECW still at the time, but he would have been around TV taping and stuff like that. I believe it's believable. I'm sure there's something to that degree might have happened. Just the way they brought it, he made it made an interesting way he described. Hey, I'm more Dusty than you are. That Punk hit him right back with, well, and it's very true. All the stuff you said you were gonna do, I've done. So yeah, back and forth. Can't say who won it. Some people said Cody burned him. Maybe he did. But it was pretty close. But
it was.
All I know is that within that 15 minutes or so, we've had yet another story added to this Rumble, which has a lot of like mini matches built into it. We've got Punk, who's laid groundwork for feuds with Seth, Drew, Cody, and whoever. Probably The Rock if he shows up. We've got, think about all the mini stories we got coming into this Rumble right now. Obviously, Drew's going off. Sami Zayn's been gone. Maybe he'll show up in the Rumble, get some revenge on Drew. We've got, like I said, Cody and Punk. We've got Punk and Seth. We've got, we've got Punk and Cody. We've got Gunther is going to fight the world because he's trying to win it this time.
McIntyre, Punk, and
we've got, what the Usos are doing. Maybe the Usos have a face-off here. Solo. There's a lot of stuff going to happen in this Rumble. It seems like there's a lot of little fun stories, which is good because that's what you want. And it's not so obvious.
This is the first Rumble that's been built and not as obvious for the last 5 years.
Yeah, so, and we like that we don't have we honestly don't have 20 names announced or anything like that. We have a few, and even less for the women's. It's more about the stories that are going into it, which means there's more than one option that's there, more than one outcome.
Yeah,
in that regard, but there's a lot of good stories going to it, and I like that we didn't have like a silly we got to have a big brawl at the end of the show. We're going to throw each other over the top rope because that's what we do in a fight. To say, yeah, if this was the Rumble, I'd win. They didn't do any of that this year, thankfully. They just built it up normally. Poor R-Truth getting the shaft at the end of the night. Well, he was just trying to give the man his cut of the merch money. I did like that he asked, what's the password for the briefcase? Truth's just trying to give the man his money. What are you saying? He's a good friend. That's another story into this Rumble, obviously. What will R-Truth do? What will he attempt to do in the Rumble that's not actually the rules of the Rumble? Or will he think it's a tags match or something like that? We'll see. Stay tuned. Will Tom and Nick Mysterio show up? Anyway. Anyways, yeah, we might as well just get into it. We don't have a large card, and you know what? I'm fine with
No,
that.
I'm
We don't need all
perfectly
this, we
fine
don't need all
with
this filler. We've got, in fact, they decided, hey, we're going to put the women's tag title on SmackDown this week. We're going to put the men's tag title with DIY challenging next week's Raw. Okay, I like it. We don't have to fill up this card with all this extra matches. Let's go right into it. So we'll go right into it. We don't have much for things, so we'll just go right in. What can we talk about first? There's only two things we can talk about. So we'll talk about, I guess, the U.S. title. We have Kevin Owens challenging our man, your man, everyone's man, Mr. Prime himself, Logan Paul, the U.S. champion, in his first title defense. Yes, right here at the Royal Rumble. Owens obviously last year at the Rumble with Roman, but this year going for the U.S. title, a title he has held before. So, Charlie, you got to tell me what's going to happen in this match. What do you think of the build-up? And what's going to happen in this match?
The build-up's been good so far.
What do you like about it?
I just think Logan Paul has this. He's not going to drop the title, and I'm not just being biased. I just think he's not going to drop the
This is
title.
first defense
Out there, yeah.
Yeah, he's been fun. The way he just cuts promos, insulting Kevin, insulting everybody. He's pretty comfortable doing this stuff. He was made for this, so it's been pretty fun. In between, of course, his interactions with his should-be stablemates, Theory and Waller. They seem to be building this little bit of a thing together. So it's been fine. You know, they both can talk. Of course, this should be interesting. They do have their history, as he keeps bringing up. It still sticks in him that Kevin stunned him at WrestleMania 3 years ago. So I like that they keep bringing that up. Going back to Sammy bringing him in for that match with Kevin back in Tampa. Anyway, so he should retain here. I know Owens hasn't won any much big things lately, but I mean, he won the tournament. I don't think it hurts him in a loss here. There's ways around this. There's some shenanigans that can happen here with Theory and Waller or something else. I agree that he retains here. There's a bigger match for Logan.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We got Mania coming up. He's going to be in a marquee match, and he might as well be defending the belt. So, we're going to go with Logan here. I'll be excited to see him again live this Sunday. This Saturday. I'm sorry. Sunday, as Gunther said the other night. Michael Cole. Saturday, not Sunday.
Right.
That was pretty funny. Gunther don't care. He'll say whatever. It's Sunday somewhere. So that's that match. Well, oddly enough, our second mid-card match, as it were, or undercard match, or maybe it'll be main event. We thought we were getting a Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, but no. In fact, we have a fatal four-way. So we've got Roman defending his title. We've got AJ Styles in his black jeans. We've got LA Knight. We've got Randy Orton looking like a cartoon action figure with his physique. A fatal four-way match here for the Universal WWE title. I don't know what we would call it anymore. Undisputed Universal WWE Championship. Actually, I know we thought for the longest time we're just getting the singles match, but I kind of like that we're getting this four-way because it puts a little more intrigue. You know, everybody knows that Roman's not going to lose here, but this makes it like, oh, maybe good. That's all they need.
Yeah.
It should be pretty chaotic.
I went into this one thinking it was going to be Orton versus Roman, and it would just be.
It could have been, but it's true. You don't want Orton taking a loss. Like, he just got back.
Yeah, but as much as I'd like to see a transitional championship just to get Orton's numbers up there to break Ric Flair's record.
Right.
That's not what's happening. We're going to see Roman Reigns pin LA Knight. It's the only reason LA Knight's in there to take the pin.
Oh, LA's going to take the pin, not AJ. LA Knight you're going with again. So the second time.
Take the pin.
Okay. I mean, they're all getting pretty good reaction. Knight, obviously, they've cooled his pushback a little bit, but he's still involved in the main angle here. He's still over with the crowd, so it's not like it's hurt him. AJ also just came back, but AJ's, again, still getting strong reactions. No matter what they've done, even though it feels like AJ hasn't really done anything maybe in the last couple of years, he still gets a good reaction when he comes out. So, Roman's going to win this. Who is he going to beat? I don't think he's going to pin Orton. I'll say he pins AJ, so they can set up a rematch down the line there because we never really got that match, have we? Roman. I mean, we got Roman and AJ in the past, but not since Tribal Chief has been around. I just hope it should be a chaotic, fun match, and I was hoping that it's going to be more like that if you recall that SummerSlam 4-way with Brock, Joe, Roman, and Braun back in SummerSlam. I was there in Brooklyn. Was it 2017? I hope it's something like that. Just a chaotic, wild 4-way match. Roman's feuding with the world. Like I said, he's feuding with these three guys. He's feuding with Adam Pearce. I mean, he was feuding with Adam Pearce. Now he's feuding with Nick Aldis. He's got feuds with everybody. The Rock wants a piece of him. Cody wants a piece of him. CM Punk wants a piece of him. Maybe. I don't know. Everybody wants a piece of him. But yeah, he should retain here. But at least the 4-way match makes it a little more, well, it gives a little bit of a doubt, even if it doesn't. It'd be the most anticlimactic way for him to lose the title if he just got dropped the title because he didn't get pinned in a 4-way match. That would be kind of
stupid. Yeah, you don't do that to finish this one.
I don't even think Tony Khan would book that. Or Vince Russo. I mean, Vince Russo, well, he never would have been champion for 4 years. Vince Russo was here, but we're not going to talk about Vince Russo. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to at least the match, and we'll see what happens coming out of that. We'll get some clues at what we're going to see next. Obviously, we got a lot of these guys going to need something to do in Mania. So we've got Orton, you've got Styles, you've got LA Knight. They're going to need, dance partners for WrestleMania. So we'll see where that goes. We've got a couple months to get that. So let's go into our Rumbles. You know what? We'll save the ladies for last. We'll go with the men here since it's the one everybody wants to talk about. We already discussed it a little bit, so we'll just go down this. We'll go 2 things. Okay. Number 1, who's your surprise appearances? Take a guess. Give me like 3 people you think are going to show up. Could be anybody. Could be NXT person. Could be a legend. Could be a return.
I would love to see Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona. I think we talked about. I think we mentioned that last year. Okay.
Who else would I?
AJ. In fact, don't even mention Sheamus could come back. Sammy. Yeah. We won't even talk about that. Who do you really want to see?
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee. Okay. AJ Lee. Okay, we're mixing up. That's fine. We'll go. We'll talk about both here. That's cool.
A third surprise appearance. I'm trying to think who there could be.
Come on, Hardcore Holly. Somebody, come on. Somebody tell me. Who's your one of your favorites from maybe 20 years ago that you want to see in this match?
You know what? I'll do a long shot and say MJF.
MJF in the Royal Rumble. Okay. As MJF, Jim.
Yes.
Technically, he could actually use the music if they wanted to pay for it because it's licensed. It's like unlicensed music. Okay. All right.
God knows they would pay for it. So
that would be one of the most. We talk about breaking the internet, which has already happened several times this week. I think that might do it, but I think Max is rehabbing an injury. But then again, he could be working us because he loves to work us. Okay, so that's your 3. Well, you named AJ Lee as well. That's okay. All right. So now that you named that, bottom line, who's winning this match? The men's Royal Rumble. That's it. CM Punk.
CM Punk, without a doubt.
No doubt. 100%.
Yeah, he's deadlocked for me. I see this being for the World Heavyweight Championship with all the different routes that the World Heavyweight Championship has going into this that aren't the predictable story that Cody versus Roman Reigns is.
Mm-hmm.
It just should, and they did a great job at making it the focus of the World Heavyweight Championship. You got Shinsuke, you got CM Punk, you got Seth, you got everybody already. You got Gunther coming in now talking about how he deserves it. It should be up in the air for the World Heavyweight Championship number 1 contendership.
Okay.
There's just more stories surrounding it this year.
There certainly is. And more people have seemed to be gunning for that particular title, which is a good thing for a title that's not even a year old. It's becoming this prestigious. Okay. So you're 100% confident on that.
Yeah. I think they're gonna have
Cody, even though as of 2 months ago Punk wasn't even here.
I think they're gonna have Cody lose by a thread and then have the story get more dramatic and more dramatic going into Mania. Is he gonna finish?
We can tell people this. What I do know that what was I gonna say? I was gonna say both Cody and Punk are scheduled for Elimination Chamber, but not Roman.
Yeah, and then have Cody win his shot at the Elimination Chamber.
So he will be there, so it's very possible to happen. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking because maybe sometimes they have plans, preliminary plans. Maybe Triple H was thinking months ago he wanted to win this Rumble before Punk was even a possibility. Even 6 months ago, I probably would have said Gunther wins this after his performance last year. And I know there was some reports going out today, which you can take with a grain of salt about. That's what the plan is for Gunther to win. But or maybe he might be a favorite. I wouldn't be mad at that, not at all. If that's what they were to go. I mean, they did kind of tease that with Seth and Gunther the other night. That match would be cool too, obviously, and that would be a great story to tell if you were just going to continue Gunther's undefeated run and just put the title on him.
I see that being a match down the line, though. I don't see
so
that.
But I'm saying I can see that kind of thinking. Maybe like, hey, let's put the title on now. Don't even he doesn't have to lose the IC belt. He can just win both. Keep the undefeated streak going.
It's a big WrestleMania, and that's putting a lot of pressure on Gunther.
I know. I mean, he hasn't been pinned in 2 years, man. And trivia fact, do you know who was the last man to pin Gunther in WWE?
Who?
Actually, he was on NXT. Wasn't even in one Mr. Braun Breaker defeated Gunther his last night at NXT before he showed up on SmackDown that week. It was such a random match. Like all of a sudden, this NXT after Mania, after Braun had just regained the belt from Dolph on Raw, he just challenged him for the title, and then the next 2 days later on Friday, he was there on SmackDown debuting. So that's interesting. Fun fact for everybody. He hasn't been pinned much. He was pinned by Gunther. He was beaten by Dragunov in NXT as well. And if anybody remembers back in the day when they had the Survivor Series NXT invasion, he was in the Survivor Series men's match, and he was actually pinned by one Drew McIntyre. So interesting.
Yep.
3 people that have actually defeated him in his 5 years in the company. So that all being said, we come down to our favorites here. People, Cody could win back to back, sure.
I can tell you one Raw route that I don't like at all. Drew McIntyre and his Bret Hart ruthless aggression, whining.
Curry is not a fan of this whiny character. Apparently, you weren't a fan of the Bret Hart 97 character either. Fun fact, 97 Raw, actually one of my favorite years in Raw. Underrated year, actually. Better than 98, I think. A lot of stuff was going on.
But really, Drew McIntyre's story is going to end up on the unemployment line, so I don't really care.
Charlie's just like hoping that he's rooting for Drew to be showing up on Rampage in about 6 months, I think.
Yes.
Or back on TNA.
McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler.
You go to TNA and fight Nick Nemeth, yes. The new big star that I guess that was speaking of which, the big surprise at Hard to Kill, which actually honestly is a good fit for Dolph / Nick, honestly. What's he gonna do in AEW? What is anybody gonna do in AEW, but especially him? So I got a pick here. Punk's the obvious call. All those other ways of getting to that match. He's got to win. It's his first match back. It makes no sense. He's never won it before. It's 10 years since he walked away after his last match being the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
It's too perfect. Triple H likes his history. But, however, I will say, if he doesn't win, I'm going to go with Gunther as the backup. But anyway, that's my pick. So we're in agreement. We've been in agreement on this whole show, I think, already. And as far as my surprise picks in the men's, don't think Okada's going to show up. I think Sammy's going to show up. I do think Sheamus is going to return. As far as my surprise, who I'd like to see, as always, I'm always going to say it, the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman, has to show up in the Rumble one time. Just to hear it. I would pop for that.
While we shortly hit on
as far as who I don't think will be there, I don't think Hollywood Hogan is going to be showing up. He might be there, but I don't think he's going to be in the match like he teased the other night, because I don't think the man can even get in the ring, let alone take a bump over the top rope. As far as anybody else I'd like to see, I do agree with you on Cardona, although there's like a little one-off as Matt Cardona, not as Zack Ryder, obviously.
Yes.
That would be kind of cool if he showed up. And let me see. As far as legends or anybody, there's been rumors of X-Pac. I'd like to see X-Pac show up. Why not?
Okay.
Why not? As the 1, 2, 3 kid, as a matter of fact. Even better.
Ooh. While we briefly touched on his name, imagine Dolph Ziggler taking New Japan bumps.
That's true.
I would love to see Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I mean, we might see him over there. I know he's signed with TNA now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did tease some stuff with New Japan. So I'd like to see. He can still do it. I mean, he's in his 40th, but the man can still go. So I'm interested. I'm actually more interested to see him in a different company with TNA. Like I said, that some different opponents. That because honestly, after I couldn't stand seeing him anymore show up on Raw every once in a while. It's like it's been years and it's like the same thing.
No, it was so randomly placed too, and
yeah, he would always show up in the most random things. Outside of that NXT run, like I said a couple years ago. Which speaking of NXT, we also have Vengeance Day coming up a week after the Rumble, and I don't know if you've been watching NXT lately, but what do you think of our boys there, the Wolf Dogs?
Yes,
Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. Give them all the titles.
Yes,
that's what I say, and they should obviously win this Dusty Cup since we have Carmelo Trick into wrestling twice on this PLE. He has to know he's turning on him. Like I'm pretty sure Trick knows he's turning on him. He's just playing along. Like, okay, you're going to turn on me. I'm going to be ready for it. Because if he isn't, he's the stupidest man alive. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a future episode. So we'll move on to our women's Royal Rumble here. Charlie Reddy says AJ Lee's going to show up, and is she going to win this?
No. I'm really hoping for a Bayley win. Really hoping.
Yeah, I mean, she's like the only story they built so far is her talking about how she wants to win this so she can go win the other title from Rhea.
Plus, it would be a good split from Damage Control. I think you're going to see Bayley versus Io at.
Yeah. So, what do you think here? She says she's going to go after Rhea, or is she just going to say no? I'm going to turn on you. I'm going after you, or are they just going to make her decision for her?
I think they're going to make her decision for her.
Yeah, she's another one. Speaking of not being able to read the room, clearly the rest of Damage Control has had enough of Bayley, and they're just kind of like they're being nice to her, but they're like we're tired of her. It's been a while since her heel turn, so it'd be interesting to see this Bayley as a babyface. Obviously, we're not getting the two men back, I don't think, at this point. But I would pop for that though for one night. This one's a little more cut and dry than the rest. I don't see there's a lot of people that can win this. Nobody's really built up. Bianca's already won it. She's not going to win it again. Becky could win it again if we're going to Becky and Rhea, which is not guaranteed. They've teased it, but it's not a guarantee. I think J-Mal had a good idea about saving that match for next year, Becky and Rhea, and maybe Rhea continue this reign, but we'll see. I'll agree with you though there, and yeah, hopefully AJ Lee does show up to her old music. I'll pop for that. Hopefully they don't change it like everything else. As far as any other surprises, well, we've pretty much seen everyone you can think of in these matches every year because they've always had to fill them out. So hopefully we'll get some NXT people, especially in the women's match. I'd like to see. What do you think of that? Yeah, that's what we'd like to see. I think it's time we get some NXT call-ups in this women's match. There's a couple people I can see in this. Of course, we're talking about Tiffany. Of course, we're talking about maybe a Roxanne Perez, even though she is going to be on Vengeance Day.
You don't think Tiffany still has a lot to do in NXT?
She could. I'm not saying she's going to get called up, but I'd like to see her in the match. Is my point.
Okay.
I don't mind seeing her in the match because they can challenge for any title, so it could make sense for hey, I want to win my title back. I'm going to try to win the Rumble and get an NXT title shot because it can be, as we've established in the past, it can be in fact cashed in for the NXT titles, but only been done once by Charlotte. Yeah, I'd like to see more, a couple, maybe not too many. In fact, in the men's, I could see maybe Carmelo. He's been on SmackDown a lot lately anyway, so I can see him showing up.
But that wouldn't even be much of a call up because he's already on.
No, he's kind of half and half. They're kind of like just like they did with Dragon Lee. They're kind of like softly easing him in at the same time, and maybe if he turns on Trick, it's kind of weird though because he's kind of playing that babyface role in SmackDown. So if they do break up with him, Trick, it'd be kind of weird for him to turn and then kind of be in the main. I don't know. So long as he doesn't wind up like poor Cameron Grimes and have nothing to do, which I don't think he is. Though I think they do have a plan for him. And as far as Braun Breaker, I think we're going to see him pretty soon, and I think they waited for this moment specifically because 6 months ago, if you brought him up, what was he be doing? But now after Mania, you're going to need some fresh opponents for people. You're going to need some fresh people.
Plus,
so
you could bring him in the tag team with Baron Corbin.
You could do that. I mean, Corbin can come back up. Corbin is a free agent. He can show up back on Raw. We do probably have the draft coming up again after Mania, so that's another thing to look out for. So maybe not the night after Mania, but maybe during the draft. Although I do expect this year to have that traditional Raw after Mania feel. I think it's going to be a little more different. I know we haven't had a lot of A lot of people really hated last year's. It seems like I didn't think it was that bad. Just nothing people just want the debuts. They want surprise, like the Rumble. Like if the Rumble doesn't have 17 surprise entrants, they don't care anymore, people. We don't need it this year, though. We've got story, like you said, especially in the men's, maybe not in the women's. So the women, they can have a million, but I'm saying that right now, if you've got a good story, you don't need to have. To me, it's like people just want. That's what they want. They want surprise entrants. Okay, here comes the Hurricane. Here comes the Godfather. Okay, great. Are they going to win it? No. So what are we doing here? Let me see. We got some stuff here.
No, is she?
Hey, again, until we see her show up anywhere, everything's possible. Would I be surprised if she showed up on Saturday? Absolutely not. I know we heard, they stopped talking to her. We've heard that how many times before? Will people ever learn? All these sources close to Triple H. Yeah, okay, who? He knows it, guys. This guy, Uncle Paul knows what's going on. Trust me. He's playing us all like a fiddle, and you're loving it. That'd be pretty funny if she did show up. I mean, if she did, hey, why not? That'd be a good pop. I don't know what they do with her after that because it's kind of down, but I guess it would make sense if Bayley's dumping from Damage Control. She's gonna need a friend. She has no friends and she's alienated everybody on the roster the last couple of years. So, yeah, why not? And like I said, maybe we'll get back to my prediction that we'll have the Horsewoman in a War Games match this year. Maybe, who knows? We'll see. Hopefully she does show up at the Rumble if not, instead of a Dynamite with 1,600 people in attendance or whatever it is. Pretty bad. My friend just informed me I think they had something like 900 tickets sold for a Collision coming up. For some reason, they decided it was a good idea to book a Collision in the same area as the Super Bowl the night before the Super Bowl. Maybe he thought the Jaguars were going to be in it. I don't know. He should know better, though, considering his family owns them, that they're not going to be in it. Anyway, it's a good thing that WWE puts the Rumble on Saturday. It's not to be on at the same time as the football. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we think. Any more thoughts from the chat here? I see David wants to see Sasha. Okay, so that's his prediction. I can see it.
I don't know. This is one of those things where I believe the internet and think that their talks with WWE are over.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, are they going to give her this big one? If she's really asking for that, are they going to give it to her? They could, but did they have to? No. They didn't have to bring Punk back. They could. No. They decided, hey, we could use him. Could they use her? Absolutely. Is there more of a story of her coming back there than showing up on AEW and wrestling at 9:30 every week? Yeah. Charlie knows. Or I'm sorry, lately it's been 9:15. They've scaled it back a little bit, 9:15. Yeah. But I think they've only had one women's match for the last year, over a year. It's been over a year since they had more than one show. So that tells you all you need to know. I know we had some complaints about SmackDown the other day that the women's tag match was kind of short, but I think they kind of ran short on time that night. It was nice to see Isla and Alba, the witches, as it were, back on SmackDown, or the Unholy Union. I still call them the witches. Okay, so that'll be the Rumble this Saturday. Like I said, I'll be heading out there. I'll next time I'll let everybody know how the time I had. If anybody's going to be in Tampa, I'll be around. And again, if anybody's going to be in Philly for Mania Week, your boys will be there. So
yes, we will.
We'll figure out where we're going to go. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm already making some plans for some side stuff. I going to go to the. They just announced the House of Glory combination show with Wrestling Revolver, which is the company that's run by Sami Callihan. So that should be a fun show. Really got some names attached to that. We've got some big matches coming up. Actually, we've got Mustafa Ali taking on Amazing Red. Is it for that show? So that could be cool. Yeah. And of course, Ali's also going to be the month before here in Queens for House of Glory, making his debut on March 2nd. So if anybody's in the area, that's coming up. But yeah, that should be a cool dream match with Red. That's something that's exciting. They already announced some different names for that show. The Rascals are going to be there. I'm sure some more AEW people will be on that show.
I'm going to have to meet Finn Balor that weekend because then he was apparently not going to be with WWE afterwards. So.
Oh, yeah, there's some rumor, some word today about his contract being up, right? I don't think
sad. So sad. I hope he doesn't leave.
I mean, there's a lot of contracts coming up. I think they're in the process of negotiating. I don't think he's leaving, but that just because his contract is up doesn't mean he's leaving. What's he going to do? I mean, maybe people are saying, well, he could be. No, he's not. he went somewhere else so they can make a main eventer. Maybe TNA would, but speaking of which, welcome back TNA. By the way, they are back. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up, so it should be exciting. Like I said, we got Sasha. We don't know where Sasha's going to go. Okada's a free agent now. We've got Ospreay showing up in AEW pretty soon. Sting on his last legs here. For some reason, fighting the Young Bucks apparently in his last match, because of course he is. Why not? Yes, he is. Jake, he is, and so is I think he is. In fact, I think this Friday, Jacob and Zilla, who would be Umaga's son, are teaming up for a GCW show there in Tampa. I might check it out. That's coming up on Friday night with a lot of big matches on the card. None the least of which is everyone's favorite, Joey Janela, taking on the former top dollar, AJ Francis, right there for GCW, who's also been showing up for TNA as well. So good for him getting a gig. Not sure why Jacob Fatu is still stuck on all these indies. I know he was under contract with MLW forever, but maybe it's his attitude. I don't know. He said some run-ins, but he definitely belongs in one of these big promotions. And the fact that he's not around in this Bloodline story is kind of weird to me. But if he ever shows up, I think people will agree. Anyway, so we've got there's a couple more days to the Rumble. We got AEW coming on, Dynamite coming on in a couple of minutes. If you want to watch the Cope fight the murder grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki, it's coming up. In one of the more random generated matches I think I've ever heard.
I'll have it on as background noise.
Like, why is that happening? Because why not? And you could also see such things as Swerve, who's for some reason they cooled his momentum off a little bit, but taking on the shell of Jeff Hardy, as I would call it tonight.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Who's been complaining that he's not on Dynamite. I'm like, dude, you're lucky you have a job right now, the way what you've been through. Anyways, enjoy the show. Enjoy maybe SmackDown if you watch it. Of course, this weekend with the Rumble on Saturday night. It should be a lot of fun. And we're right into it. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Next week is after that, we'll have Vengeance Day. We're going to have the Chamber coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Sting's last match, Revolution. And of course, WrestleMania week coming up.
We'll have a Vengeance Day pre-show.
Yes, sir, we will. We'll talk more about our road to WrestleMania. We'll continue to plan our events. And who knows? By the end of the week, we're going to be dead tired. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many shows I'm going to do. Last time I went to Mania here in Jersey, New York, I did like 6 straight days of shows. So, including Hall of Fame, which
nice.
Turned out eventful. Yeah, it was like something like 6 straight days. The first day I did 4 shows in one day, which in late into the night, which was insane. Well, I don't know if I can do that now. That was 5 years ago. I was 5 years younger. Yeah. By the time I went to Raw and SmackDown, I was pretty much on. By the time I showed up at SmackDown, I was pretty much on fumes. But I had to go see Kofi's title celebration. That's the only thing to keep me going. Actually, speaking of the New Day, it was a Wild Brawl the other night. If it was somehow possible that Big E could come back in the Rumble, I would probably go nuts.
Hasn't he had an announcement that it might be,
but if he does show up, I think that would be another thing that would pop me.
Hasn't he had an announcement that it might be career threatening?
Yeah, he's going back and forth. Bloodline. Yes, sir, Dave. That's right. Another member. Jacob Fatu definitely is a Bloodline member. He's kind of said it, but he said, he's kind of hinted around that he's doing better, but he's like, I don't have any timetable. We've heard that before. I'm just saying. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. The way they've been building the story with New Day and Imperium, I was like, it seems to be calling out for Big E to fight Gunter, and I would like to see that if he's okay. If he's okay. I'm just glad that Big E's still able to walk around and have fun because he deserves it. Anyways, what else we got going on in the chat before we go? Showing up in the Rumble? I don't know.
I'm sure he has no idea what that question even means.
Poor Charlie doesn't know who Hammerstone is.
I don't know.
Alexander Hammerstone, former MLW champion, been around the circuit for a while. Big dude, dude. I'm not sure he would pass a wellness check. But he did make an appearance at Hard to Kill. It was actually a pretty good match with Josh Alexander. It was kind of a weird, unique matchup, and I actually thought it worked pretty well. He's good. He's a big dude, big jacked up dude, but he can move a little bit. I don't know if WWE is going to go after him, but I wouldn't be mad. He's, like I said, he's been around. Somebody's going to snatch him up. Anyways, before we go, anybody else, anything else to say? I know you're giving me, thanks for joining in, David, Jake, thank you, Botch Club, thank you. Let us know who you think is going to win the Rumble this weekend. Who you think is going to win the title match? Who's going to be at WrestleMania? We got a lot of time.
What did you have for a women's Rumble?
I didn't say it?
No.
I think I agree with you on Bailey, didn't I?
Oh, okay.
Are you telling me to change my pick? Okay.
No.
Let me see.
I wasn't sure if you agreed with me.
I think Lash Legend's going to come up and win it all. Come on. I hope she does. Actually, I hope she does show up in the Rumble and gets like the Diesel spot where she throws a bunch of people out.
She's been impressive.
She was really impressive in that scramble in the Survivor match.
Yeah.
And that viral moment with Otis. But yeah, that's something. That's another thing I'll add in there. I hope she shows up. Any metaphor involvement this weekend will definitely get a pop out of me. So again, thanks guys for joining us. Hopefully we'll be back next week with our Vengeance Day preview. We'll figure out when we'll do that. We'll let you guys know, or just look out on the channel. Again, thanks for all the support. Like, share, subscribe. What can I say? Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Charlie, for joining me, and we're always having a good time here. And I'll see you pretty soon, actually. So, anyways, have a good night, whatever you're doing. Thank you. Love you guys. Peace out.